Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. I am so glad to be here because I'm diving back into the lab, and we're talking about a positional group I haven't done one player on yet this offseason, and I'm super stoked, man. It is Dalton Kincaid, tight end from the Utah Utes, and now Buffalo Bill product. Okay, and here's the thing. I'm a Buffalo Bills supporter through and through, but my evaluation is always unbiased. And I got the goods on this, man, because he's got, high-end gem potential, not only for your favorite team, which is mine, but for fantasy football, respectively. He is a damn good player. So what do you say we dive into Dalton Kincaid, now BillsMafia product? When we discuss a product like Dalton Kincaid, it is easy to get excited about him overall for what type of player he is and what potentially he could become in the NFL. So let's discuss the team that drafted him, those Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills. And I'm telling y'all, my evaluation will be unbiased because you can't be any other way. You got to be real about how you evaluate all this talent. And the Bills drafted him round 1, pick 25. And admittedly, on draft day, I was not necessarily overly happy with the trade up and then, jumping the Dallas Cowboys to select a Dalton Kincaid. However, your mind thought process does start to change as the offseason does move on. And now you start to feel a little bit more warm and fuzzy with the potential that Dalton Kincaid could bring to this offense here with the Buffalo Bills. And Josh Allen throwing him the ball. Like I said, round 1, pick 25. And I mean, okay, did I expect the Bills to take a tight end in round 1? No, I did not. But now he adds another dynamic and dimension to this offense that is going to be very nice. And I am excited now. As for the Bills tight end depth chart, we got Dawson Knox, Quentin Morris, and Joel Wilson right now on the roster. And I mean, I put the Bills wide receiver depth here as well, simply because I'll let the cat out of the bag if you guys don't know already. Most of the Bills Mafia already does know. He is going to be that, pass-catching tight end weapon for the Buffalo Bills. So he's going to have to be, fighting out some of this wide receiver core for these target share. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Khalil Shakir, Deontay Hardy, Trent Sherfield, and then Justin Shorter, rookie from Florida as well. So there are a lot of weapons the Buffalo Bills do possess still on this offense. I know a lot of people are, sour on a Gabe Davis. I'm saying do not jump off the Gabe Davis train. I've been preaching this all off season as well, but you add a Dalton Kincaid to this offense and you wonder how it's going to work with a Dawson Knox. The Bills paid Knox and they're going to continue to utilize Knox, even though, Kincaid could be, inserted more in 12 personnel potentially, the double tight end sets, you got him maybe moving around a move tight end, playing the slot, being the alpha slot type of wide receiver tight end mixture type of deal. You could see that a lot here this year with these Buffalo Bills, but he does add a dynamic that the Bills didn't necessarily have here at the tight end spot. He could be, categorized as a bigger type of wide receiver, not just a tight end product. But I mean, you look at how the Kansas City Chiefs have moved with a Travis Kelce. I'm not saying Dalton Kincaid is Travis Kelce. There are some similarities you do like to see, but how successful Patrick Mahomes has been with a Travis Kelce, you almost think that the Bills want to kind of recreate that just a little bit here with a Dalton Kincaid. It's going to work wonders here. It will be interesting in year 1 how they do utilize Kincaid with a Dawson Knox. I am very intrigued by that. Perhaps Knox does stay on the line a little bit more to block, and Kincaid does some damage in the open field. We shall see. It will be interesting. But let's discuss this man's measurables. This is 6'4", 246. He comes weighing in 23 years of age. He played in 26 games, 107 receptions, 14 in yards, 13.2 on the average, and a nice 16 touchdown receptions. He did spend some time with the University of San Diego as well before transferring over to these Utah Utes, and that's where he kind of started making his name known. Over 800 yards this past year with 8 touchdowns, and that put him on the standard to say he was one of the best, if not the best tight end in this entire draft class, hence why the Buffalo Bills had to move up and jump those Dallas Cowboys who were, licking their chops, hoping he was going to fall to them. But Dalton Kincaid does have a lot of good opportunity here with the Buffalo Bills, but for some pros, there's a boatload of them, I'm telling you right now, man. Great burst, and the first step off the line is absolutely fantastic. Even when he catches the ball in the open field, that burst and that first step is glorious. He kind of almost, morphs his body downward and starts to go like a compact runner. Very good in that respect. Speed is solid, 4.71 on the 40 for a man his size, 6'4", 246. Can't hate that whatsoever. The 40 time is good. I think that, it aids in what we know he is. He's a strong, athletic type of 12 tight end, maybe hybrid, we can call him at that point. Strong athletic ability, like I'm saying. He's got the spins, the hurdles. He's got the ability to torque his body in every direction, making big plays, jump balls, etc. He does all this extremely well. Very much an athletic specimen to his repertoire in his game. Sharp plant steps on his route cuts. I do like that a lot about him. There is some refinement that can be had, but he is very sharp in this respect, man. Fluid running style. I love it. You guys know my work. You want to see a fluidity in the running ability for all these wide receivers, running backs, and then tight ends. Not so much for tight ends, but you want to see it because Kincaid does fall into that, a hybrid tight end, playmaker down the field, receiving upside, Kelsey type of tight end player. You do want to see the fluidity in the running style. There are no wasted movements. I absolutely love how he runs with the football in his hands, man. He is slippery and elusive. Maybe not the full-on break tackle, but you're looking for from your tight end to bowl people over, a.k.a. Gronk style. It's not necessarily going to be in Kincaid's game at this point right now, unless he does put on some more weight. Then maybe he does morph that into his game as well. But he is very much slippery and elusive. He can elude would-be tacklers, and he does go down the field. Great body balance. It's there. It's all over the field, and this aids not only in his catching ability, but how he is able to maneuver around defenders that are coming after him, especially linebackers and safeties trying to cover him over the middle. Yak ability is very strong. This is part of the game. You give him the ball in his hand, he's still going to be able to make chunk yards down the field, and you gotta love this about a Dalton Kincaid. It's going to give Josh Allen that much more opportunity to have a safety blanket with this type of size down the field. Going to be very good, man. Change of direction, absolutely effortless. It is in that same, I'm not going to say he's Kyle Pitts, and I'm not going to say he's Travis Kelce, but it's in that same realm of opportunity you're looking for from the tight end spot when you're talking about a pure pass-catching tight end that can make plays for you. Kincaid is extremely solid at the change of direction abilities, whether he's spinning, going, juking around people, trying to make people miss, a couple shuffle steps, side steps, and then he's going around the defenders, whether it's linebackers, defensive backs, or safeties. He definitely is doing this very well. Hands are elite to me. I think this is probably the biggest aspect of his game. When I'm watching the film, his hands are so good, man. They're big. They're on the bigger end of the percentage scales, and he doesn't drop a lot of passes. He's very, very sure-handed, big and strong hands. You gotta love that about his game, whether he's, in traffic, contested catches, or he's all over the field. I mean, ball skills are absolutely superb in a Dalton Kincaid. Contested catch ability is also there. You're not going to want for nothing when the ball's coming in his direction. I mean, yes, can his game grow in the NFL? It's going to be very much, that much more difficult, you want to say, in the pros, but I think he's going to, round out his game very, very quickly, especially in an offense that does have a player like a Stephon Diggs to pull coverage from his direction. Kincaid is absolutely going to feast eventually in this offense, man. Body adjustments are top end, whether he's on the sidelines, in the end zone, making those jump balls, going over the middle, mid-range, 25 yards down the field. He does this all extremely well. He's very capable in this respect, and he knows where to put himself on the field. Absolutely love this about Kincaid's game. He does have downfield ability. Like I said, he is that mismatch, whether it's, just don't want to say he's just doing the short ins and outs. He can actually go do the wheel routes down the sideline, make those catches. He does the toe drag swag. I mean, it's all over the film when you do pay attention to what he's capable of. Mid-range, over the middle, over the linebackers, in between the safeties, all there. I love it about his game. Knows where to be. He is going to be definitely that mismatch. The alpha slot tight end appeal is all here for Dalton Kincaid. Like I said, is he the Kelsey type? We will see. It's very difficult for us to sit here and say that Dalton Kincaid is going to be the next Travis Kelce because he hasn't played a down of football, and Kelce is a future Hall of Famer in the making, one of the best to ever do it. So you're not going to compare the two, but it's in that realm of possibility. Like we're talking Kyle Pitts, the extreme athletic ability, speed, upside, catching ability, and able to be a playmaker. It's all written for Kincaid. As for some cons, he's got some. It's not a great deal of cons, but I mean, when you're talking about the body weight right now, he is in the 28th percentile when it comes to tight ends. And I mean, it's not dreadful because you can utilize him in other aspects. Like I said, put him in the slot. You're doing more 12-man personnel. However you want to utilize this man just to get him open in the open field. Could he stand to add more weight? Sure. It's not going to, inhibit his game if he puts on 10 pounds. Only should assist him, especially in the blocking aspect of his game. He's more so of that big wide receiver type over the prototypical tight end type type of player. And I mean, that's just a statement rather than a con. I don't think this is anything that's going to hinder him in the NFL, in the pros. But I mean, if you're drafting a tight end in the first round, you kind of do want him to do everything, right? And that's what you got to talk about. So he told you, unbiased opinion. You want to see him do it all. You want to see him be a heavy blocker. You want to see him do the catching ability. This is the kind of situation he is right now. Maybe he will morph into a better blocking tight end in the future. As we sit today, it was the same knocks we had on a guy like Kyle Pitts. He was very, not much in the blocking capabilities. He had to learn some more of that, and he still isn't 100% refined in the pros. Kyle Pitts isn't. But Kincaid kind of falls into that same category as well, where you can kind of view him as that, move tight end all over the line. He still is considered a tight end. Won't ever be a wide receiver because the speed isn't there, but he is a damn good player. You got to put some of these statements, maybe not necessarily but more of a statement, like I'm saying. Not a prototypical tight end, like I'm saying, more of a pass-catching playmaker. It's fine, just more of a statement. The physicality is adequate. It's not dreadful. It's not horrible. He's going to be able to make some people move on the line, but it's not his greatest asset, and it's not going to hurt him in this, but it's not going to, promote him in this. And we got to understand where he does come from in this respect. There is possibility he will improve, and I have no doubt that he will improve. It's just going to take some time. You got to round out the all-around aspects of your game to be getting all the check marks in the boxes. Otherwise, you do lose some of that. Play strength is average, and it's not really a concern because, like I said, always for players who need to improve in parts of their game, a good meal plan, and get into the weight room. He's already very, very muscular as it is anyway, so I don't want to put that completely as a con, but the play strength, you will see it. He's going to go up against some grown-ass men that will kind of bump him off every now and then, so you will see that from time to time. But again, he will learn very quickly and put on some more weight. I have no doubt in my mind. Blocking improvements required. Like I said, already touched that. Like a Kyle Pitts, we suggested the same type of things. Just got to work on the blocking. It's different when you're in the pros, and depending on how much time he does spend on the line, it may not be necessary for this type of player, and we'll see how the Buffalo Bills offense does utilize Kincaid in year one and then thereafter. Could he be a potentially 100-plus target type of receiving tight end? Absolutely, but so is blocking really going to be part of his game? That's why you got to put these down as statements, even though they are, inadequacies in his game at this point. Separation is hit and miss. Out of all the receiving upside I have seen from his game so far, it's hit and miss. He does get open. He does find separation, but you found ways that Utah kind of masked and manufactured ways for him to get open sometimes. That was kind of the key. When he's one-on-one with a slower linebacker, he's able to break free. But if the linebacker or safety does have wheels enough to keep up with the Kincaid, he's right on his hip. Hence why you say you got, the great contested catch ability. So if the separation isn't there, Kincaid will still challenge for the ball. There is no question about that. But, I mean, the separation you want to see from your tight end, not like a wide receiver because it isn't in the same categories. They are slower. They are a little bit, more less movement ability is there. But Kincaid, he does this well enough for me to say that, it's not a complete con, but it is definitely hit and miss. There will be times you will see him knocked off, pinched off the line. You will see that he won't be, the linebackers or safeties will be right on his hip, and he will have to be forced to make those contested catches. Kind of one of those situations. Will he ever be a true separator like a wide receiver? I mean, time will tell, but I mean, it's a tight end, right? So you got to understand, take it for what it is. It's not a glaring concern because he still makes plays, which is a positive. It just makes his catches that much more difficult when it is down the field. But for grading purposes, we're talking grade scores for tight ends, and Dalton Kincaid is one of the better ones in this draft class, if not the best one in the draft class based on draft placement and selection. 76.3% is not a bad score for Kincaid. He did lose some marks on the blocking upside at this point, but he is a solid tight end prospect. And like I said, as a Bills fan, I kind of hummed and hawed on the draft day in round one to suggest and say, well, I didn't really want a tight end in round one. I wanted other player positions at that point. But now that he's on the club, you start to understand, what this Bills offense could potentially be with a player like a Dalton Kincaid. Could be very, very strong. And if he does end up anywhere, from, a Kyle Pitts to a Travis Kelce, anywhere in between that, I think the Buffalo Bills are laughing at that perspective, and it was an absolute steal, even though they had to trade up and get him. So it will be very interesting. Josh Allen's got a new toy to play with, and Bills fans should be smiling. So there you have it. That is Dalton Kincaid, Utah Utes product, now Buffalo Bill. And again, like I said, sometimes, your original thought process isn't necessarily what it should be as you start to break things down. He's a solid, talented player, and I foresee a lot of good positives coming from Dalton Kincaid in this offense with Josh Allen, with Stephon Diggs, and how this Bills offense should move forward. Will create so many more mismatches, and if you got Kincaid in Dynasty leagues, count yourself smiling because he could be legit 100-plus target tight end in the future, in the coming years, because he should, I'm not going to say it 100%, he should be one of these guys that everybody's coveting in fantasy football. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. Bills fans, I know, with cover one, we already know a lot of people love him. Throw it in the comments. Tell me what you're feeling about Dalton Kincaid at this point. How are the Bills going to utilize him? What is your prediction for his rookie season statistically? Throw them in the comments. We can talk it out. But we'll see you next time. I am out.